We are live. Hi, guys. We have a really good show tonight. I don't want to delay it very much, so I'm just going to do a really short cold open. That's more of a PSA. It's called Everything is Spiders. So if you don't know this, everything in your house is actually spiders. There's not one thing in your house that isn't either spiders or could become spiders if you looked at it the wrong way or touched it or put your hand underneath it. So just be aware that everything, possibly yourself included, is in fact giant spiders. Thanks. See you in a second. Roll tape. Oh, hey guys, what's up? I'm Videodrew. Welcome to my show. This is Live in the Dark. Not so dark today, but we're doing it a little bit early. We have a really exciting special guest here tonight. But before that, we have a also very exciting special guest joining me to help facilitate this interview. We have joining us Schmoedown's own head question writer and a deep personal friend of mine, PJ Campbell. Hey, PJ.
Look at you. It's so good to see you.
I know. I can't believe I've never had you on the show before. That seems very weird. Like, you should have been here day one.
I mean, probably, but also I know that I have 1.5 million things going on at all times as I knock stuff over. But, you know, it's just one of those things because I'm always working. And you know that about me. I'm always working. You know, you said it. We have this show, and I'm always on that show, always doing things 95% of my time.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to have you on. I knew that, like, as soon as I said Josh Ruben, I knew I'd be able to get you on tonight because that is our special guest. He is the director of last year's Scare Me, as well as this year's amazing film, Werewolves Within. He's an old friend of mine. Welcome him to the show. We have Josh Ruben.
Oh my goodness, look how big my head is on this panel. It's huge. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
How are you? Now I know my cat is spiders. Thanks, Drew.
Your cat is possibly spiders. My hair, 90% spiders. Just found out today.
My hat is spiders. PJ is spiders.
My hat is spiders. My Darkman and Army of Darkness comic, spiders.
Oh, girl, don't drop that name. My heart's all aflutter.
Now, Josh, I have seen the news around the internet that you really want to do an adaptation of Sam Raimi's Darkman or a reboot of it.
Well, I prefer the term direct sequel, Drew. Yes. Otherwise, I don't think there's a way to do it otherwise. And I'm not talking about getting Arnold Vosloo back. You know, I'm talking about going and seeing if, you know, Professor Taken would be down to, you know, bear the bandages again. But, you know, hey, we'll see. Just another Caucasian 37-year-old filmmaker just trying to reboot IP, you know, here in California.
It's so funny to me, too, because, like, of all the properties Universal has, Darkman feels like the one that circa, like, 2006, they would have jumped on because the superhero thing started to boom and Liam Neeson started to do action movies again and no one jumped on it.
Yeah.
So the more you talk about it, the more I'm like, please.
Yeah, I the more I am, I'm like, please. It's funny because there was some kind of paradigm shift where the other day the internet was all just like a buzz, and I was like, what have I done? Like, what if I do get in front of the powers that be, which I haven't technically yet, and they're just like, it's fine. You know what I mean? Just the most flaccid idea.
Yeah, TVA doesn't like approve your idea. Like the timekeepers are just like, no.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm gonna be pretty firm about it because I don't think there's. You can't reboot that. You've seen it again. I mean, it's still so good and stylish.
Oh well, I'm really excited to talk to you about a bunch of stuff going on with you. I saw Frank Fuller. Oh yeah.
Oh, that hard media, PJ, you're killing me.
Yeah,
it's what I do.
PJ's got a scary amount of media. If you notice behind him, what gives me tryptophobia? That's all Blu-rays and DVDs.
It's all Blu-rays and 4Ks. Yeah.
Oof.
My whole
More
life.
like scare me phobia because I saw that DVD, which is also it's just like you're killing me, dude.
See?
Oh my god! So you're the one who bought it. Oh my goodness. Thank you.
So real quick, I do want to say the Streamlabs and Super Chats are all open tonight. They're in a couple bucks. You know what to do. Like, subscribe, do all the buttony things that you do on every other YouTube channel. Just because I'm bad at like shilling for it doesn't mean you don't know how to do it. Please do it. Also, guys, this format of this show, I really want to dive into Josh's. I mean, should we just dive into Josh's stuff? We usually do movie news right now, where we do 3 pieces of movie news.
You can do 3 pieces of movie news. I'm not going to stop you.
All of it is Darkman related, though.
Okay, great.
Darkman.
Come on, Rob Tabbert. Why are you sitting on it? That's right. Better be.
The most important question, though, is will Bruce Campbell have a scene at least if you got to do Darkman? You have to bring him back.
He's definitely going to do all the ADR, just like he did in the article, as was revealed. Yeah. Oh no, Drew, you're muted.
Yes,
you're like Gerard Depardieu. No, that's not the guy. Desjardins, not Gerard Depardieu, but the guy from The Artist.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember his name.
Jean Dujardin.
We can't hear you, Drew. Nothing.
No, but this is a phenomenal. This is live TV, folks. I'm gonna keep trying to figure out the name of the star of The Artist.
What about now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh gosh,
Desjardins. Yeah,
Gerald Depardieu. You're thinking of Gerald Depardieu.
No, that's Green Card is the lead in The Artist. His name was I can't. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Maxwell.
But anyway, that's what it was like when it was a silent movie. I should have just said Chaplin.
1 second. This might do something weird too.
We lost Drew.
Sure did. So we're 6 minutes into this show, and it's just Jean Desjardins. Thank you, Max Haddad.
Yep, got it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Sorry, I could only see like the screen that was only telling me the audio stuff. You know what? We have a limited amount of time here tonight. Let's move to the
That's
movie
all
news.
good. Yeah, I want in.
Okay, so let's see if I can read this. PJ, do you mind reading this? It's a little bit small for my eyesight.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Antonio Banderas is Harrison Ford's newest co-star in the anticipated next installment of the Indiana Jones franchise.
Oh.
Production is currently underway with the film set to bow on July 29th, 2022.
Puss and Boots.
Puss and Boots. Wait, so that means that so far this movie has Fleabag. It's going to star Fleabag. It's going to star Antonio Banderas, and it's going to star Harrison Ford. And have they announced anyone else yet?
Yeah, Hannibal himself.
Oh my God.
Mads?
Mm-hmm. Mads is in it too. Mm-hmm.
Mads, they got Mads, Fleabags, and What Lies Beneath. That's crazy.
Yeah, What Lies Beneath. Wait, Josh, how good is your Mads Mikkelsen impression? Like on a scale of 1 to 10. You don't have to do it.
Probably pretty good. I have never attempted one. I'll do it right now. Ready? I am attracted to you, Will Dormer. I'm attracted to you, Will Dormer. Is that what he said in Hannibal? I said a direct line from the show.
That's pretty much it. He's like, Will, the lion is trapped in the cage, but we never think about how the cage is trapped in the lion. Thing.
We never think about how the cage is trapped in the lion.
Yep.
Isn't my hair perfect? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's pretty good. I feel awesome about this movie. I mean, so far it seems like there's like 3 other movies that are doing this. It's like Knives Out too. They just keep adding more people, and you're just like, oh well, it's going to be great because at this point it's really hard to do an ensemble cast that's going to suck with this many people.
Yeah. I also trust James Mangold. I mean, look, that's the big thing for me.
Yeah.
I love Mangold. What he did with Logan was
really great. Logan?
Yeah. And Ford v Ferrari was Oscar nominated. Like, that movie is great. It's a great dad movie. So he's perfect for the dad franchise.
Kate and Leopold, a great film.
Kate and Leopold.
Identity.
And Copland. It's like, I gave you a chance to be a good cop and you blew it. Like that's a sandwich. Like De Niro eating a sandwich and talking with his mouth full, and that movie was just like Anthony Garofalo.
Oscar for Copland.
That's right.
James Mangold, John Patrick Shanley, and there's like 2 or 3 other directors who I just think, oh yeah, and the guy George Miller have the weirdest careers in all of Hollywood. Oh, Justin Theroux, who like also co-wrote Zoolander and all these things. Just have the weirdest careers. Like they just bounce around from like genre, making great stuff.
Hey, I'd like to think that like Mike Nichols started all of it. You know, he like did sketch and then he like, directed Broadway and like What Planet Are You From? I mean, come on. That's a movie everybody thinks of when they think of the legends.
What Planet Are You From? Absolutely.
Gary Shandling's Tour de Force.
Is that Gary Shandling? For some reason, I thought it was Albert Brooks, but I realized I'm thinking of Defending Your Life.
That's Defending Your Life. Yeah, this was Gary Shandling as an alien.
Whoa.
Did Mangold do? Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
He walked on.
He did.
So good.
He also did Night and Day, that one with Cruise and
KNIG.
Yes. Yep.
Which I always used to confuse for Collateral, but it's not Collateral. Collateral's a whole different movie.
Way different.
Michael Mann.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, you know what, Josh? You'd be pretty good at this movie trivia game that we all do. That we all, yeah.
I would read the next movie news. I mean, if you don't think that'd be like too terribly hijacking of the show. After orchestrating the Marvel Disney Plus series WandaVision to a 23 Emmy nomination haul, Matt Shakman has made a deal to direct the next untitled Star Trek film for Paramount and Bad Robot's J.J. Abrams.
Okay. I love Matt. I met up with Matt like about 5 years ago when he was still directing like Always Sunny episodes because I really liked one of his the Charlie Work episode. He's really cool. I loved WandaVision. Don't see anything wrong with that. Give him Star Trek. Give him Star Trek.
I want it specifically to be like a Mirrorverse movie so that we get like evil Chris Pine and also like normal Chris Pine because WandaVision's got so many like weird things going on. So give him that and let him play with the Mirrorverse a little bit. And get crazy. Bring Tom Hardy back as Picard.
Yeah, make Agatha all along. Make it all Agatha all along. She did it all. Can we get Worf up in here?
Didn't Chris Hemsworth play Shatner's dad?
Yeah. Or he played Pine's dad.
Yeah. So bring him back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been trying to do that, and he costs money now is the problem. Like Star Trek.
Those are the $90,000 days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring in Mephisto. That's my final word on the subject. It's got to be Mephisto.
Everything is Mephisto, just like everything is spiders.
Everything is spiders. Everything is Mephisto. I'm not a huge Trekkie nerd. My dad loves Trek. It's not my specific cup of tea, but sure. So like, give it to Matt Shakman. Put Charlie Day in it. That's all I ask.
Yeah. That's my Charlie Day.
Yeah.
Beam me up.
Spaceship. He could just do the Lego movie line. Just say spaceship a bunch.
Everything is awesome.
He could just be his character from the Pacific Rim movies, and then you just like bring him back in that same capacity. It's fine.
Yeah, what's the difference between kaiju and whatever happens in Star Trek?
There's space whales. It's the same thing. It's fine.
It takes place in San Francisco.
Same damn thing.
Same thing. Let's see. What's our last piece of movie news so we can get good on talking to Josh?
In response to the successful global streaming debut of The Tomorrow War, Skydance and Amazon are in development of a sequel to the Chris Pratt sci-fi pick. Chris McKay is in talks to return as well.
Wow. So if they get to do a sequel to Tomorrow War, then I get to do a prequel to Werewolves Within. That's my sort of mandate. Yeah.
Do you have an idea for a prequel? I'm sure
I do, but I have to have a cup of coffee with writer Mishna Wolf. We're supposed to meet up on Tuesday. I have a few ideas, but I don't know. I'm just a hired gun, guys. But I really have a fun idea for a prequel. It's like, how did the wolf get there, you know?
Yeah, I love it. I love that. I love that for you, Josh. That's my new favorite.
Me too. Thanks, Drew.
No, this sounds. I haven't seen The Tomorrow War yet. I'm going to see it this week because next week's guest is Mike Mitchell from Doughboys, who is in the movie. So I will be watching it between right now when I have not seen it and next week when will have seen it. But yeah, just give it a sequel. I didn't know it was that successful. I didn't know
I didn't either.
I feel like everyone was talking about it right around the 4th of July because I feel like that's when it dropped, which was the perfect time because it's very Independence Day light with newer cast. So everyone was like, watch the movie. Everyone's talking about it. And all of us were like, it's fine. But everyone watched the It's Fine action movies. So it worked out.
You know what? Here's a perfect segue. You know who's in The Tomorrow War?
Yes, I do.
See
Mr. Sam Richardson. Yep.
That's right.
Richardson.
Yeah. TJ, you got it. You got it in time for the buzzer. It is Mr. Sam Richardson, who is also the star of your movie, Josh, Werewolves Within. Talk to me a little bit about sort of the casting process for this film, which, by the way, guys, it's on streaming. It's on Vudu. You need to check it out. It's based on a video game.
Rent it.
We are still. That's right. Spend all that money. We're still the #1 comedy on iTunes, which is insane after however many weeks from June 25th. I'm bad at math, but I think that's almost a month. Well, I made a dream list of people I wanted to work with, including my friends, Milana Weintraub and George Basil, who play Cecily and Marcus, respectively. I'd known them forever. So I thought, hey, worst case scenario, if I go to the middle of nowhere, I'll have a friend when we're shooting. So getting them aboard, but also like an incredible casting director, Gail Keller, who does What We Do in the Shadows, and Louie, an incredible television and film, Sleeping with Other People, I believe she did. She's just awesome and thinks outside the box. She suggested Harvey Guillen and Glenn Fleshler and I think Wayne Duvall as well. And then, yeah, just kind of, people I've always wanted to work with, like Rebecca Henderson and Michael Chernus, like acting heroes. And of course, Sam too. And yeah, the rest was history. It was quite a buoyant crew. I mean, everybody loved each other and was, loved reading with each other and hanging out. And they all did live with each other, like in the middle of wintry nowhere.
You mean, but when you found them, they were all living with each other on like a
They
commune?
were all in one big house, which is insane because it was just like one lodge. And I walked in and I was like, I know this is going to sound crazy, but have you guys ever acted before? And they were like,
yeah.
And they answered unanimously.
And you were like, I have this script that is perfect for all of you. So please sit down and let's read it.
Yeah, they all did at the same time.
Now just this is something I've wanted to ask you. Like what motivates you to write these incredibly awesome movies about, I think, one of our biggest unconscious fears, which is what it's like to be trapped in a cabin with a manic pixie dream girl for a weekend? Like that is, so where does that come from?
Well, I mean, that's a mind bender of a question, especially because I'm thinking about Aya Cash as a manic pixie dream girl, and I think I certainly thought more about how intimidating it must be to be trapped for an emasculated Caucasian male, to be trapped with someone as wise as her character Fanny. But in this case, Mishna's character, without giving too much away, I mean, yes, it's the manic pixie dream girl. It just sort of, it happened to work out that I was doing a second film with like snappy dialogue and a sharp, acerbic woman lead.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's an honor. What can I say? I found my vibe. Like I found my brand.
Yeah, cabin movies where everyone is stuck out in the middle of nowhere, just leaving it there, doing horror Clue. It's perfect. Oh,
absolutely.
And people have been comparing this a lot to Clue. Do you think this is did you have Clue in mind when you were making this film? Like again, this is based on a video game, and it's been told by, I think, one of our competitors and great critic, William Viviani, that this is the best adaptation of a video game movie ever.
It's certainly the best reviewed, apparently, at a whopping 86% on Rotten Tomatoes. No big deal.
Wow.
82% audience score. No big deal. Just as of today.
Wow.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. No, I forgot your question. I literally brain farted the moment you teed me up for something. But yes, they said that it is. Oh yeah, Clue. Right, Clue. I didn't forget.
No, you got it.
I did watch. I mean, as soon as I opened Mission Script, it made me think of like Jaws and Arachnophobia and Hot Fuzz and Fargo. Those were like the main movies that hit me. But like Clue, I watched for a bit of inspo for like how to shoot tableau, like how to shoot groups of people and make it interesting. Because I watched the shit out of Clue when I was a kid, and I was like, well, I rewatched the shit out of that movie when I was a kid. What was so interesting about the the tableaus? And not that much. They just kind of put the camera up, and it was just sort of the pacing and the editing and the music that made it wonderful. So
Great
Clue
score.
is definitely oh my god, so good, and a cast of archetypes. Dare I say, it's just like a good style. What's that?
Yeah, I was going to say, and I thought there's a little bit like a really good Robert Altman of letting the characters kind of talking over each other in the right way. So you're always catching little things as everyone's talking, which I also really like.
Oh, thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a fan of those kind of, those like character driven movies. Like I mentioned, Nichols before in Light, but it's actually true. Movies that he made, like even Postcards from the End and Birdcage, or Postcards from the Edge and Birdcage, and I mean Heartburn, those films, like even, you mentioned Defending Your Life, which is a favorite of mine, Drew, when I was a kid. And still is. There are like locked off films that are performance driven, that star comedians who can play emotional stakes for real. And I think that's kind of my jam. But if I can like turn up the genre, like contrast a bit, that'd be like the dream.
Yeah. Like add in just a touch of Silkwood and I think you're good to go.
Yeah, add in a touch of Silkwood, but like, like a vampire, like a werewolf, or like, a gill man.
I'm not saying this should be your prequel idea, but what if Silkwood plus vampires?
I mean, I think that's fantastic. There is like a count in the game, so I think we'd like have to like do something with the count. I don't know if he's technically a vampire, but like, yeah, we'll just follow the count.
I think it's going to become like Josh Ruben doing his version of like Abbott and Costello meets Frankenstein and meets the Invisible Man and, so on and so forth. Because they met quite a few of those monsters.
Jason versus Cheech and Chong. Yeah, exactly. Yes. It's going to be just like that. Yeah.
Wait, so this actually reminds me a lot of like Josh's Mind House, not to bring it back old school.
Yeah.
But that reminds me a lot of what you used to do with College Humor and then afterwards. Like, tell me a little bit, or tell the audience, because I already know, a little bit about your sort of background in comedy and how you got started.
Well, I've always wanted to be an actor, like a turtleneck wearing like New York City actor who like lives on the poverty line doing off-Broadway plays. But no one would cast me in stuff or put me in movies, or like, I couldn't get an agent. So I started making videos with my friend Sam. And then Sam and I roped in a few of our friends, including his brilliant wife, Elaine Carroll, behind the genius behind Very Mary Kate. And we formed a sketch group. And then that sketch group sort of caught the interest of Ricky and the team at College Humor, like way back in the day, like back when we were making like very problematic like sketch videos to be edgy, because we liked Kids in the Hall. Like we did a sketch about like a water balloon fight on a roof, and like, they hit this one of the characters with the water balloon, and you could see that like through his soaked shirt that there was a swastika under it, and he was like, "What? It's a scar!" Like, oh my God. And he's like trying to lie out of the fact. Anyway, we're like trying to be edgy like garage band comedians. But anyway, College Humor was like, "Oh, that's brilliant! Like, boy, are they edgy! Boy, do we want them to make videos for us." So we started making videos for them, and like I ended up over the course of 7 years, like making 2,000 like sketch videos, from music videos to cartoons, acting in them, directing them, writing them, co-writing them. It was like, back school filmmaking. And then that turned into like kind of a commercial career. And that turned into me being sick of directing commercials and wanting to, recklessly take $26,000 out of my 401k and put it towards, my first movie. And that's how that little DVD behind PJ came about. Dark Man.
Oh my God. You had $26,000 in your 401k. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know.
Josh, I think, I'm not sure if you know this. I think you know this, because unless you forgot, but I was a fan of yours before we ever met. Like, that's how I found you, was through the College Humor comedy stuff. I think one of the first things I ever saw of yours was you doing Hans Gruber and like a Die Hard parody.
Oh my God, yeah.
Making fun of Dan Gerwich.
They had to take down that. I did another one too. There was a Hans Gruber, and then my friend Charlie and I did a Hans Gruber and his brother Simon Gruber, like the Gruber brothers. Yeah. But for some reason, like we had to take the sketch down because it was like in conflict with like Warner Brothers or something crazy. Wow. Which is so insane. So you'd think that would be like everything that College Humor parody. But yes, Gruber Brothers was a biggie. Any excuse to do an Alan Rickman impression.
Yeah, your Alan Rickman was phenomenal. And then again, I'm not going to force you to do any impressions.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I know. Should have felt Nottingham. It's been a long time.
Well, you can be self-deprecating all you want. This College Humor stuff could sometimes hit on some really true subjects that I do think hold up. You guys did a sketch that was hilarious to me. It was a take on the "Tell Me More" song from Grease. I'm not sure if you acted in it.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I kind of got into like definitely. how rapey and non-consensual that song just inherently is. And I just thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, we did some progressive stuff, I guess you could say, like some like social commentaries, like edgy sketch, and others were just like, dude, like why do we, there's stuff you could probably find just like I would get canceled. You'll push me out an iceberg, and I'll just me and Milo, what's his name? We'll go to the Deplorables ball every year, and we'll just party.
Milo, the guy who directed. Oh yeah, you're one.
Jabodatopoulos. Yeah. I'll go join him. No, it's just a fun time. It was like, and it's cool to look back in a way, because it was like working with all of my friends, like in an office building where there were free snacks and like making videos every week. It was just, and shooting at each other with Nerf guns and doing live shows. It was like kind of criminal that we got away with that as a job.
I mean, all your friends and my little sister, who I believe sat next to you for several years, Josh, Hannah Grant.
Oh my God. Yeah. Hannah. That's right.
She used to text me, I would say every other day, just going, Josh is doing voices again, period. That would be the entire text. That would be the entire thing I would hear from her today. Josh is doing voices again.
And it made you like either terribly envious or like, oh, she's complaining about this desk mate.
I think I was terribly envious. I also think she was complaining. I think it was a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Definitely. I had this like diplomatic immunity because Sam Reich basically hired us. Like he hired me. And so I was just like, oh, I'm friends with the boss. So I'm just going to like make noises and be like just a giant child. Like it was like big, like working at the toy factory and just like all day. It was just like I'd leave to shop for jeans, but hey, they had a clown on staff like at all times. And did I not entertain, the masses? PJ, I mean, come on.
I mean, you absolutely did. That's the thing. You you entertained all of us, and really, at the end of the day, that's what matters, right?
Yeah, and you got to stay in that cool IAC building.
That's right. Yeah, free snacks. And before that, the one on Park Avenue. Yeah, it was a fun time.
Right. You were like, did you guys Vimeo? Or Vimeo was
Yeah.
Vimeo.
Sometimes we had people come into the lobby and ask for us, like usually teenagers, and it was like,
oh my God.
Yeah, and so they would just be like, oh hey, there's people down the lobby, want to go meet them? We're just like, da, 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 da. Yeah, I'm happy. It's amazing we did get, this was something I was thinking about earlier today.
So like, unlike a lot of people I know who are becoming famous now and becoming real assholes about it, you were already kind of like, you were internet famous. You've been internet famous since like, early mid-aughts. You've been reconciled with that for a while now.
Yeah. And it is like, it's really hard. Like, it's like, honestly, like really hard.
Is it so hard for you?
It's really, really hard. Like getting recognized and on occasion for like a Lady Gaga parody or like, I don't know.
So now that you have been doing these movies and stuff, I mean, when you do these press junkets, when you do these things, do people often be like, oh, wait, are you the same guy from the College Humor Sketches? Or mostly people have to be, told that you used to do?
It's like 60-40. Like, it's like a lot of it right now with movies. It's just a whole other echelon of people like, Empire UK, like Empire Magazine is, they've never, they didn't watch like 6 Girls You Date in College or whatever. But on occasion, I'll get someone who has that
series.
Yeah, exactly. There's like occasionally there's someone that's like that Venn diagram of like not only works at like Entertainment Weekly, but also grew up watching me and also was like a Rotten Tomatoes critic. And so it was like, I grew up watching you and I'm important and to your career. And it's a fun time. Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, here we are.
And here we are. I want to talk a little bit about and PJ. Yep. PJ over here with the flexing.
That's right.
So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Scare Me. You said you took all that money out of your 401k, which I'm still not obsessing about. That's past. We're done that part. But tell me a little bit about your idea.
Know what it was like to have a 401k.
What was that like for you?
Passive. I didn't really think about it. That was a wonderful thing about the IAC salary program as, a 20 some odd person. Like, money I haven't been thinking about. What's that?
Was it all spiders?
It was all spiders. All that retirement money is spiders. And boy, did I put a dent in it. Yeah.
So, I mean, Scare Me is a two-hander. I'll bring up the picture in a second, starring yourself and Aya Cash. It is, first of all, greatest sound design I think I've ever seen in somebody's debut film. Brilliant sound design. You guys, there's another character I think that joins for a little bit. There's maybe 2 characters.
Chris Red, yeah.
Yep, Chris Red, the great SNL Chris Red.
Yes, and also in Popstar, Never Stop Poppin' or whatever that's.
Never stop, never stopping.
You know, don't let me get that wrong, PJ. Don't never put that as a question. Never put that as a 5-pointer because I will always say never stop popping. But tell me a little bit about that process for you. Did you have this already written when you were doing commercials and stuff, or was this a process of figuring out what the film was?
I was doing like Lucky Charms commercials and Geico commercials and kitty litter commercials, and I was like, I don't want to always do that. I want to make movies. And so I made a promise to myself that I was going to make a movie kind of like no matter what. And I had all these like big ideas, like a revenge thriller with vampires and this like, you know, genre dating movie that was terribly written and this alien abduction thing. And like, I had all these scripts that were like unproducible because I wasn't even a first time filmmaker. I'd done these kind of tiny videos. So I read Mark and J. Duplass's book, which is great. It's called Like Brothers. And it just kind of kicked my ass into gear. Like, just stop taking meetings and like actually just like write something, and make something to your resources. And so I thought of a two-hander where the kind of concept of it would be I'm going to write to my resources and I'm going to write a role for an actress, and have the two-hander of it all not be a sexualized relationship. It's going to be an opportunity for a great actress to just come in and compete with this male character and do voices, do physical comedy, do stuff that she wouldn't normally get to do, with cameos and everything to boot. So there comes Chris Red and Becky. But then as I was sort of, these ideas were sort of percolating, or the concept of it was percolating, Me Too happened. And comedians and folks in the film industry that I was looking up to and that I grew up with watching and enjoying their stuff, culminating with Mr. Ansari, really made me angry. And also having worked at College Humor, where it was, for the most part, a very like respectful work environment, but definitely like making a lot of sketches about boobs and beer and video games, I was like already kind of anxious about being a part of, you know, that kind of bro culture to a degree, even though I don't consider what we did necessarily bro culture. We like tried to do. Anyway, that's a conversation for another panel. But I was angry about the women in my life that were coming out of the woodwork, as I was one of the few non-silent men, especially white men in my community, signal boosting stories about power tripping, about abuse, about harassment. I was inundated with like women's sort of experiences and stories and thanks. And that made me write angry and like write the subtext or inject the subtext into the script, that this was going to be not necessarily about assault, but about the potential dangers of what it's like to back an emasculated, like Caucasian American man into a corner. And to, you know, to what happens when they feel small, which is, unfortunately, things get dangerous. So that became the driving force of the script, beyond all the like funny voices and shit. And then that is, I think, why, especially on the, you know, on the heels of Get Out coming out and everybody going, holy shit, we need social commentary, horror. That's kind of how it happened so fast.
I mean, that's I never thought about Scare Me in that lens, but you're right. It's got this undercurrent of like what I think on SNL they call white male rage. White male rage.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Because that movie, I mean, for people who haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it, but I did think it was going to zig in one direction, and then it zagged in a completely different direction regarding the ending. And that's really interesting. How'd you end up with Aya Cash, who, by the way, like just in a fortuitous turn of events, it was right when The Boys was coming out this season, so she was just at the height of her.
The most insane timing, because we were a tiny movie, and not only were we a tiny movie, but we got railed by COVID. So we were like going to have 1 week at Alamo Drafthouse, you know, like a 1 week theatrical run maybe, and like a you know, an outdoor screening or something, and all that stuff went out the window when COVID hit. But I'd known for some time, because I'd known her husband, Josh Alexander, who does who does voiceovers, and I was just like, I'm just gonna pass this script to Aya, or just like text her directly and say, do you want to like shoot a movie, like a tiny movie with me, just kind of in the area, because she lives in the area we shot in as well, and it just kind of worked out. And the fact that The Boys happened after we made our little movie, and after like all the potential chances of like a bigger splash publicity wise sort of went out the window, that The Boys happened and she was like, you know, one of the coolest villains and integral characters. Like that was amazing publicity to kind of ride, be like, yes, The Boys is Aya Cash, please.
Well, the Nazi chick is in this movie.
Yeah, that's right. The Nazi chick calls Fred an incel in this.
Yeah, it's so good. She can make a meme out of him.
I thought the other thing that was... Oh, sorry, Drew.
Well, go ahead. No, go ahead, PJ.
No, I was going to say the other thing that worked out was like Shudder went all in on being like, with COVID happening, we're doing like free offers for people to sign up, and Scare Me becoming a big part of Shudder's push at one point. Like that was one of the things they were talking about very frequently was this movie. Everyone watched Scare Me, and I thought that was great for you guys because you got to ride that out for such a long time.
Exactly.
The claustrophobia of both your movies, Josh, is kind of like perfect for the COVID era. Like it's kind of like speaks to a zeitgeist. I'm not sure that is intentional or not, but both of your movies have now come out during a period of time where we're all trapped in our houses with various characters, whether we like it or not.
I'm looking forward to making something in like an open field, like in at least like the warm foliage of the fall. Darkman, for example. Darkman goes to Hawaii. Will be the other one.
Oh, you want to do Midsommar part 2 is what I'm hearing from you.
That's right. Yeah. It's called Kindsommar.
Kindsommar.
Yeah, late Sommar.
Kindsommar. So we have this is on Shudder Plus. I mean, so did you film all of Werewolves Within during COVID? Like, was that all done, the entire production during COVID?
We wrapped March 9th, 2020, and then we're in quarantine on Friday. So the fact that I like started quarantine with like a job and a routine was really, really serendipitous. Like really a very privileged position to be in. Like we didn't have to stop production, which a few of my friends had to do on their projects. And then when I came home, I was able to like, you know, see my fiance who I hadn't seen in months because I was shooting but B, have like a routine, like a 9 to 5 to edit. So how we were most impacted was I didn't meet my editor in person until like the sound design where we were all, you know, masked up. But it was entirely over Skype and Evercast, which is this editing program. So that was pretty much the only way we really got railed. But otherwise it was sort of like seamless. It was like, holy shit, I can't believe I made it.
Do you think it's going to be, I mean, who knows what we're doing with this new variant stuff, but do you think you do have any plans for, like you said, like doing your next movie and having it just be completely different, like less claustrophobic, sort of, you know, people in a room? Or is that something you're just like not interested in? You just want to do mostly what they call bottle episode kind of films?
I want to do a bottle episode. Well, yeah, I definitely have to step outside my comfort zone a little bit. It just happened to be that the second film was what it was, people trapped in an inn. But there's a couple of things that are up in the air that who the hell knows if anything will go. It is a Herculean effort to make things. But I'm producing a film for a good friend of mine, a genre film that's beautiful that I'm really excited about. So that'll be fun. And that's not super contained. It's actually sort of a road movie. And
opposite of contained.
Yeah. And there is technically a contained sort of thing that could be fun. What's that?
I said this where I'm not sure if you were talking about the same movie, but I was like, the road trip movies are interesting because they're both contained, like this people in a bubble, and it's also moving through physical locations. I'm just making a great observation about what road trips are. That's right.
It's the sequel to Road Trip. Ivan Reitman. Yeah. So I'm going to be making Road Trip. On the nose now.
Is it like it's Planes, Trains, and Automobiles Part 2?
Oh my God, that would be fantastic. It was definitely Kevin Hart, obviously, and Bryan Cranston. And Bryan Cranston's in a wheelchair, just like in so they already work together.
The sequel to
this movie's already been made.
What is it,
Josh?
The Intouchables?
Yeah, that's right.
Perfect. I like it.
So, Josh, have you ever thought about you're a great. First of all, I never knew you were that much into horror. I wish I had known that a long time ago. We could have talked about all sorts of horror stuff.
I know.
I know we could have talked about all the horror. I remember talking a lot about Robin Williams, not so much about like horror comedy. Yeah. But have you thought about like moving outside the horror sphere? Do you have any plans on doing something that's genre that's, you know, dramatic, or what are other genres? PJ, help me out here.
I mean, rom-coms are good. He was talking about that a little bit earlier, that he had touched on potentially doing something like that. I think that horror, though, what's cool is you can go into different genres. Werewolves Within was a perfect example of it. It's very comedic. Like, it's a very lighthearted horror film. So I think that Josh does have the potential to break out and do that.
I do have, if I were to kind of break out, it's sort of genre skewing, but there is like a random musical idea that I'd like to do down the road. I think that'd be real fun. And I grew up like my mom sold like theater tickets. I saw a lot of Broadway. I grew up watching theater and being in theater and all kinds of stuff. So that's something I'm looking forward to, like someday, you know.
Josh, a musical? A musical?
Yeah.
Josh,
yeah.
A musical, that'd be awesome. Oh.
So happy to hear Josh on the show tonight. His particular mixture of humor and horror is truly unique. I love hearing the process.
Whoa, Alexa likes me.
Yeah, Alexa, actually says from NerdChronic, it makes me realize I have the wrong camera on. Let's see. Yeah, this was the wrong camera because this was supposed to show you the whole thing. Let's see. There we go. There we go. That was supposed to be on.
Hi, Boop. Is that Boop's name? Is that what the name of the shark is?
His name's Boop. You got it. Let's see if he'll let me do that. There we go.
He's a water class kind of shark.
Yeah. His if you feed him money, he will get bigger. He will just get bigger and stronger and more yoked, like David Thurs and Wonder Woman. I would love to see a musical that you make, Josh. Just chef's kiss.
Oh, thank you for being so supportive. I'd like to see that too. I think I have like 4 movies to make to prove myself before I can surmount something like that. But maybe it'll be sooner. I don't know. But I love. I mean, again, like movies like Clue and the films of like Joe Dante and you know, being like a theater kid. Yeah, I think there's a way to be a fun way to like combine it all, like a very visceral, like
the musical.
Yeah, I was going to say
a musical,
a Burbs sequel, right? And it's a musical because I think the Burbs is like begging for a sequel right now. To be honest,
so underrated, such an underrated.
You're making me think about like, because it's in a neighborhood and like the cul-de-sac, like the neighborhood kids putting on a show, like a play, and then like weird neighbors and like a bike parade. I mean, come on, like all the suburban
backyard theater, like that kind of. I was in a ton of those.
But
I was in a ton of those in Delaware, and I still couldn't get cast as anything other than like a background tree. Like I was in, you know, it was just like a cul-de-sac kind of play, but I was always like the kid picked last for theater, which is a weird place to be in.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All they wanted me to do was sports. Just kidding. No one wanted me to do that either.
Same.
But, yeah, exactly. But we actually have, if you don't have enough ideas already, Josh, we do have a game tonight that might kickstart.
Oh my God.
You know, get you out of that creative writing slump you seem to be
in.
Right now. Yeah, sweet. It's going to be called some variation of let's turn this video game into a movie, because you've done that already. So it shouldn't be that hard. PJ, since you haven't played before, it's a collaborative game. So there's no points. There's no sudden death. There's no winners. There's no losers. It's just it's like an exercise. You understand?
That's fair.
Yeah.
I get it.
It's the best kind of game, the one where we all win in the end.
Yeah.
Oh,
and there's no faction points.
Oh,
so
yeah, the opposite of the game of life.
Yeah. Also the opposite of the game by David Fincher. Like the opposite.
That's true.
Yes.
Found a key in the mouth of a wooden clown.
Do you know ARGs were invented because someone watched the game and thought that was a cool idea, so they created I Love Bees, and that was the first alternate reality game? Just a fun fact.
That's incredible. Yeah, CRS. I always wanted to be chased by people shooting blanks at me.
End up in the random places in the back of a car. It's all good.
Yeah.
Do we have any of the beginning of the game? Let's see if we can get this started. Technical stuff, guys.
Come on, Boop.
Oh, Boop did it. Gone. There we go.
Oh, ooh, I like this graphic.
Yeah, you don't have to make it hard, but you can if you want.
Okay.
Let's see. What would pack? I mean, there's ghosts. But it's straight off the bat.
Pac-Man.
Mhm.
Like what would the pitch be like today?
Yes. What is your pitch for the Pac-Man movie?
Oh my God. A young girl volunteers tribute to be a part of a competition where she wears a helmet that has a carnivorous mind of its own.
Ooh.
And she has to compete with other carnivorous helmet children to save her sister. So it's like the Hunger Games, but it's like literally like hungry, but like hungry for dots.
So we're putting McKenna Grace in the lead of this.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
McKenna Grace is excellent. Young actress. I think she's coming up, and yes, 100%.
Was she the one in Game of Thrones?
No,
she was in
the badass.
So many things, but she was like in I, Tonya. She was the young version of Tonya Harding.
Oh yeah.
She was in Captain Marvel as young Carol Danvers, and then she was in Haunting of Hill House, and she was excellent in the Haunting of Hill House.
Oh, you know what? Speaking of that, I think it's going to be Lulu Wilson as one of the ghosts. I think it's going to be Lulu Wilson, Chloe Grace Moretz. I'm sorry, yeah. So my version of this, it's like Cube 2 Hypercube, where it's sort of they're in a time trap where they're sort of looping around in space and time, and they're unable to get out. And so they're sort of just killing each other off, but then finding out it's like Beetlejuice rules. So like as soon as they die, they just kind of respawn, come back, and becomes like an existential sort of exercise of what it really means to be ghost. It's all from the ghost's perspective. That's my pitch anyway. Pac-Man's just that. It's like the big dragon from Loki. It's just this huge thing that comes and eats you, and then you respawn. Yeah, it's like a red shirt.
I think that's a fantastic idea.
Thank you. Hey, bring it to your next pitch meeting, Josh. I can just do this on the fly. I'm really good at it.
Done.
Okay.
Done.
Sweet.
No problem.
Sweet. Yeah. Let's try the next one. What else we got here? Oh. Have you played this, Josh?
Oh, is this Among Us?
This is Among Us.
I've never played it, and the name makes me think of
Werewolves.
The other thing that like it makes it when I hear Among Us and I hear it's a video game, it makes me think of like that really popular game that Pedro Pascal and the girl from Game of Thrones are going to do.
The Last of Us.
Last of Us. Like I thought it was like a really grave, like cinematic game, but it's just like it's a bunch of little goobers wearing funny hats.
But I think you're on the right track, though. Like making it a serious movie, like Alien style, because it is sort of much like Werewolves Within. It is a mafia style game where you're either the crew member or you're the imposter, but like you kind of have to vote. You're playing with other random people or you're playing with your friends, and you kind of do these different tasks, and one or two of you is going around killing everyone else. And then when you find a dead body, you have to alert everyone else, and then you kind of just argue about who's possibly the killer, whether someone saw them, who is acting sus.
Oh,
I first heard the word
sabotage the ship and stuff while you're going around. You're trying to screw everyone over, but not trying to be obvious about it.
Yeah, because if
I think it's very Hollywood for someone like me who hadn't played the game. Who just like saw this image and was like, and just decided what it was going to be. And for me, it would be like a school play that, where again they get barricaded, probably because of either a blizzard or a blackout. And then they were like stuck in these ridiculous costumes. But they like, there's a murder among them. But it's like all about just like just all about like colorful costumes, really, so and like ridiculous kills and costumes.
I kind of love that.
It's like in high school when you would think like, let's make it Shakespeare, but like in space. Like let's just do Macbeth, but make it space. It'd be like that.
It would be like a terrible phoned in. Yeah.
I mean, you could be that they were doing a school production of what they think Among Us should be, right? But then it actually becomes real Among Us.
Oh, I feel like there's a movie I saw that was kind of along this line. That was like they were making a home. Oh, it's sort of like that the Japanese, isn't it a Japanese movie that's one cut above the dead or one cut.
One cut.
Oh yeah, the editing, the zombie found footage.
Yeah.
Yes, that's sort of like that meta sort of style to it. I do notice, Josh, a lot of your pitches are involving the framework of someone making a play within a play. I like that.
You see this? I only have like one thing, like one gimmick, and I'm going to get found out very fucking soon. Like I'm done. Like my career is it's limited. Like I only have so much to say.
Yeah, but I mean, look, how many filmmakers have made the same movie over and over and over again, and we keep giving them our money every time they do it?
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. That's true. The containment movies. That's right.
Yeah. Among Sus is the best joke I'm going to have tonight. So Among Sus could be this title. We don't have Josh for too much longer. So let's keep it going. I like where we're going with it. What was this game? My mom
So it was a
played
Facebook game. It was a Facebook game where you were literally like creating a farm in a town around you.
Okay, so there's a play going on, and these kids are putting on a production of Farmville. Sorry,
You're
Josh.
just taking my gimmick. I'm thinking outside of the box on this one. I think that there's a kid who lives actually on a farm farm that is like encountering some kind of Monsanto like, situation. Where they're about to lose the farm property, but he actually gets sucked into the Farmville game.
Ooh.
Then I suppose captures the hearts of America, much like the Truman Show. The farm is saved because it's like, oh, come visit the farm where you can see the kid who, won Farmville, but also like where they got sucked into the game. Like, stay tuned.
Oh my God, you took the words out of my mouth. Stay tuned. The best movie of all time. Best movie of all time. Of all time.
You can't remake that either. That's like this Eugene Levy and
I think it should be remade. That's the thing. I was
Ritter.
like, when I saw Space Jam Legacy, I was like, why didn't they just do a Stay Tuned?
Why didn't they just do Stay Tuned? Yeah. Because Josh Ritter could have gotten sucked into
Three's Company.
Jason is real good though. I will say Jason Ritter's a good guy.
Well, what was great about Stay Tuned is it has that meta commentary or like the meta jokes about like, what TV was on. It was all puns, like Dwayne's Underworld, I think was one.
Right.
It all had that sort of Dan Harmon arch comedy to it that I feel like is really popular now.
It was geniusly ahead of its time, even though it was also like very black and white gimmick in a way.
Yeah. Written by 2 copywriters in the span of 48 hours, by the way, on spec. I like that fact about Stay Tuned.
Oh yeah. Wow.
It was indeed. I see a lot of people in the chat. Hey, Brendan. Hey, everybody. I like that pitch for Farmville a lot. It's very Black Mirror-y. Let's see. Stay tuned in Last Action Hero. Dude, you guys are talking about my favorite genres of film, which are people getting sucked through the malleable screen. So it's that. It's Last Action Hero. It's Purple Rose of Cairo. All my favorite movies. Yeah. Let's see. Brendan's saying he's performed some Shakespeare on stage in college. Very cool. Let's go to the next one. Let's see what else we got here. Oh my God, Josh.
Snoods.
Wow.
Snoods. Do you guys remember Snoods?
I remember people playing it, but I never did. It makes me think of like Dr. Mario and Space Invader.
Yeah.
Yes. It was my favorite game. I remember my mom was like addicted to it, and so was I. But like it was one of those early. I'd put it around 2001. We just had to like boop it. You just had to boop the red thing onto other red things, and then all the red things would go away. You boop, and then they would keep coming down at you, so you had to make sure to boop them all.
Yeah, because you're trying not to get to the bottom. You don't want to get crushed.
Yeah. I could see this sort of being like a take on like not a zombie thing quite, because I think zombies are a little played out, but that Stepford Wives conformity thing. It could really be about like, something is encroaching and it's sort of absorbing all of the people in its past, Invasion of the Body Snatcher style. And it's just up to you to keep launching other entities at it, hoping that maybe one will be like a self-destructing virus that will make them all go away.
I think that's genius. My imagination gets stopped up in thinking about a director just like appropriating like the images of native culture masks, like tribal masks, and it just like getting totally stopped up. Like it just getting some producer being like, we can't do that, problematic director. Like you're adopting too many like tribal individual or tribal culture imagery. You're taking these masks like way too far. But you could do like a People versus Larry Flint version of, or the Man of La Mancha version of like why that never got made. That's cool. Like this, and call it Snood, and it's like
or whatever.
And it's like
the Steve Coogan one with Gillian Anderson. Yeah, it's about like the meta making.
Yes. Steve Coogan would be the perfect director, like the character to play the director in that movie, which is like, wouldn't it be cool if we used like, the Mayan culture, but like made them look like funkier, you know what I mean? It's just like, oh.
In fairness, I don't think this is what the Snoods look like. I think this is like an alt version of the Snoods that was like weirdly designed like this. The Snoods were just like triangles and circles and squares. I don't think they look like this, if I remember correctly. I'll have to Google and double check. But this does look like maybe like the next generation Snoods, like how the new Pokemon look weird. I love your idea though, the People versus Larry Flint style, the right to make the Snoods movie.
People versus Larry Snood, yeah.
People versus Larry Snood, perfect. Yeah. Let's see. Max is saying he got into trouble playing Snoods. I mean, Snoods was a huge thing.
As you do. Yeah.
Okay, let's see if we can do one or two more before we have to let Josh go.
Oh my god!
Oh, we actually College Humor was actually on the map because of a Minesweeper parody from Elephant Larry. So I would just go to Elephant Larry like today, and that would be a news article in and of itself. They just did like a Minesweeper, like a war parody.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. It was one of the things that made me like fall in love with that whole group was the Minesweeper thing. It was
Minesweeper
parody. Love that Inception parody. The one that like South Park stole.
Wow. Yeah. Rosa Salazar like battle Alita. Alita is in that opposite me and my terrible Leo wig. Rosa did a ton of College Humor videos.
Mm-hmm.
Josh, I do have to say, I've now started getting into Pokemon at the age of 37, which is very cool of me. I have them all here. I'm buying some of them. But you knew Ash, didn't you?
Oh my God. Sarah Natacheni, the voice of Ash. I know her very, very well. Yes.
I'm now watching Pokemon. I didn't know anything about it. I don't know. I still don't know how to pronounce their dumb little names or like what they do. I'm just learning the world. But
I just like that dumb little show.
Yeah. No, I mean like no, not the dumb little show, but like their dumb names and how they all say their names.
In the special show. Yeah.
But the show is very good. I like Team Rocket. I like the whole thing. But every time I watch it, I do turn to my boyfriend and I always go, I know somebody who knows the person who played Ash. No big deal.
I will typically pimp her out to call like a young friend. Like there's a lot of kids in the community of my family, like friends with kids and this thing. And the thing I'll always be like, who I know. Like it used to be like Finn Wolfhard follows me on Twitter and they didn't believe me. And now it was just like, who I'm friends with Ash. And they're like, no, you're not. I'm like, Sarah, would you mind FaceTiming with, Camille and doing the voice? And she's like always down to do it. She's pretty great.
That's awesome. Just want a cool little shout out that I know somebody who knows the voice of Ash.
Oh my God.
Cool story. No, the show's great. The whole Pokemon thing is awesome, and I'm way too into it now. That's all I do with my time is Pokemon stuff.
You are literally me 20 years ago. I hope you know that.
I will buy your binder. If you have old Pokemon binders, sell them to moi. Let's see if we can get another one of these in before we have to let Josh go and do his plug. Oh, perfect. I don't know why I said that. I don't have anything for Tetris. Perfect.
Tetris. You know what? I think this would just be this would be interpreted by a British director, and it'd be like Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart doing like a Waiting for Godot, very, very artful Academy Award winning interpretation that wins like the Palme d'Or. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was thinking in a different direction. I was thinking it's a disaster film. Maybe it's too soon. Or maybe my mom's just on Florida right now, but I was thinking about building, the structural collapse of a building and sort of some guy, maybe The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, having to go, sort of go floor by floor and fix it by putting other bricks in place. I don't know. I feel like that's
maybe he'll have a problematic prosthetic limb like in Skyscraper.
Yeah. It's not so much problematic as it is unnecessary. That movie is it's so weird how they treat that prosthetic limb issue.
Right. Like, doesn't he use it? Isn't becomes like a utility? Okay.
At one point, yeah.
He barely uses it. The whole movie is sort of like an exercise in sort of arbitrary plot decisions and stuff. There's a whole centerpiece where they do a lot of Chekhov's gunning it, where they're like, well, you see this part of the building does this special thing, and you're like, okay, and you wait for it to come back. And you wait for it to come back. And you wait for it to come back. And then they finally at the end, they're like, oh yeah, we forgot about that. Here you go.
Do something with the leg. Yeah. Yeah,
do something with the leg. They have a part in the beginning, and not to hijack this for a second, they do have a part in the beginning where Nev Campbell, shout out to Nev, says, oh, the thing about your phone, you just have to turn it off and turn it on turn it on again. And that's how you fix broken phones. And then at the end of the movie, guess how you fix the skyscraper?
You turn it off and turn it on, yeah.
You turn it on.
He reboots the whole building. I see.
Yeah. It's the whole building. It's good.
As you do.
As one does. I think that's probably. Let's see. Do we have one more? Or is that it for the game? In which case, we'll just move on straight on to plugs. Okay, awesome. Josh, we're having you out just in time for dinner. What'd you make, by the way?
Oh, perfect. Some version of a bacalao. Which is just basically a fish dish with potatoes and vegetables and tomatoes. We're trying to be healthy because it's been a lot of drinking with Werewolves coming out and celebratory such and such. So trying to be healthy with a little whitefish.
Wow. Well, it's a little bit of a health thing. No big deal. Not to humble brag.
No big deal.
No big deal. I got a salad today. Forgot to eat it. Left it on top of my laundry, and now the whole room smells. But
well, I'm jealous you have laundry, and so long as it's not in like a fresh pile of laundry that you spilled salad on. Got it.
Yeah, that's what happened. But at least it's not spiders.
But everything is spiders.
But everything is spiders. Yeah, PJ, come on.
Yeah, see, come on. You said it up top. You had the PS.
You said up top. Everything's spiders.
Guys, this has been spicy and fun and informative. Thank you so much, Josh, for joining us, and PJ for joining us. I feel like you guys need to like have a bro out session, or like a person out session.
PJ, I'm following you. If I don't already, I'm keeping up, and I want to know everything about that whole hard media collection.
Dude, Josh, you and I can talk. This is what I do, man. This is my.
There's going to be a lot of. I expect it. I expect it.
Speaking of which, why don't we actually start with you, PJ? Where can people where could Josh find you? What do you do?
Yeah, where can I find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at PJ_Campbell. You can find me over at the Movie Trivia Schmoedown. Hey, I write movie trivia questions. Be nice to the writers. We're only human. And you can find me just hanging out over at the PJ Campbell Network with Maxwell and some of the people who are hanging out in the chat. You guys are awesome. Josh, it was a friggin' pleasure. Thank you for coming and hanging out.
That's a pleasure. My pleasure.
And Josh, what about you? Where can people find you and all your great work?
Oh, just at Josh Ruben everywhere. Ruben, like Ruben Blades, co-star of Predator 2.
Oh, nice. Nice Predator 2 shout out. Hold on, I'm getting this little puppy up. And guys, check out Werewolves Within. If you haven't seen it already, it is on Vudu. It is on demand. And if you haven't checked out Scare Me, I believe it's still on Shudder. It is on Shudder, right?
It's on Shudder in perpetuity. Yeah, all over. Get that hard media.
Check it out. Discuss it with your friends. Review it on Letterboxd. Bring it up at family functions, and then make a face when people say they haven't seen it. Like, oh my god, like you haven't seen Scare Me?
You haven't seen All About Eve and Scare Me?
Yeah.
Enjoy, guys.
And as for me, what are you doing on Cheryl? Like, you have to watch Scare Me. Get Shudder. They have a curative section.
Everyone get Shudder. Just period.
Yeah, you have to. You have to.
Josh, I'd love to see one of their curator sections, like where they have like special guests come on and like curate their favorite horror movies.
I want that. Come on, Sam Zimmerman, give me a shot.
Come on, Sam. It's not that like Pluto should give you a shot, because I mean I know that programming guy over there, so that's why I mentioned that. Guys, I'm Drew, and that's Sammy. Sammy.
Hi, Sammy.
Sammy, she's got a sister somewhere here. You can find me here. You're at my channel, so please press that like and subscribe button. Just quick programming notes for the rest of the week. Tomorrow we're doing at 7 p.m. So it's the same time we did this. We're doing VideoChronic, which is our bi-weekly pop culture quiz. 20 questions about one movie, deep delve. Tomorrow we are doing Inglourious Bastards. We have Paige joining us, Adam Collins, and we have a very special guest host and judge. And I'm not going to say who it is, but if you watch the Movie Trivia Schmoedown, you might be able to guess who it is. And they were in the movie. So that's going to be fun. Thursday, we are doing Congo, because on Cinema Bias on Tuesday, we are also doing Congo, because we're on our John Patrick Shanley trip. So we're just always going to be doing his movies.
Great Laura Linney movie.
Yep. Bruce Campbell, too.
And Tim Curry, right?
And Tim Curry. And Ernie Hudson.
Yeah. What a cast.
And then real quick, so then on Saturday is going to be the launch of a new show called Why Are We Like This? Me and Adam Collins talking about the pop culture that made us who we are today. So that show is starting out next week, this Saturday. So get excited. Next week on Live in the Dark, next Sunday, we have Mike Mitchell from the Doughboys and the Tomorrow War joining us. So that'll be awesome. We do have an after show that goes on via Zoom. So if you're part of the Patreon, which you totally should be, patreon.com/Videodrew. Everything's /Videodrew. It's one word. Please join up afterwards. We'll see you there. Oh my gosh. Okay. Otherwise, everything is spiders. I'm Videodrew. This has been Josh and PJ, and we love you, and that's not weird. Okay. Night.
Everything is spiders. Thanks.